I'll swipe my credit card for something dumb, even without thinking about it. But then when it comes to investing in my business, something that's actually smart leverage, I hesitate. Both of these feel like decisions. Both are not logical. It's very interesting that consumer debt is always an easy yes. But then when it comes to debt from a business lens, which is actually smart, it becomes, whoa, whoa, wait, let me think about this because there's two different risks at play. The risk of consumer debt is zero because you're going to get something you actually want. But when it comes to commercial debt, it's risk because there's no guarantee of the ROI. I want to trace you back to my upbringing. I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. Money was scarce. And we had in my family a mindset of money doesn't grow on trees. And I remember even my grandmother telling me money is evil. That was the mindset I was ingrained in. The interesting thing, if you witness people, you'll notice that the people who are the most broke typically have the biggest TVs because they're okay with consumer debt because they know buying the biggest TV is guaranteed to give them more status. This is all about, from a consumer lens, status, identity, feeling worthy. That's why broke people buy the most stuff, typically using consumer debt. And this is why business owners still get tripped up by this psychological trigger that makes them fear commercial debt when they don't fear consumer debt, because the same triggers are still firing. One's trying to leverage identity and status, which is fleeting, and one is actually trying to leverage real results, like real prosperity. When I first started my career in commercial finance, I was making 300 cold calls to business owners to see if they need financing. In the vast majority of those calls, people would say, "Oh yeah, we don't finance in our business." And it always perplexed me because it makes the most sense to finance in your business. Not only is it leveraged, but it's a tax deduction. So if you can finance a piece of equipment in your construction business and it can give you 600% ROI and a tax deduction, why would you pay cash for that? But I realize now, in my experience, it's from that trigger, that emotional sense of this is unsafe, this is risky, this is something we should not do. It's purely emotional. It's not logical at all. I've learned my lesson and I understand the real leverage is always in business because the status comes after. It's almost a cheat code for broke people just to buy things because they feel like they have status, but it's artificial. But when you're a business owner, you actually build real status by not trying to build status, just by trying to build a business that helps other people. So what changed for me is I quit trying to argue with business owners and convince them that financing is a good idea for their business, because you're not going to ever win an argument with logic when someone is emotional. It's impossible. It's a waste of your time and it's a waste of their time. So what I did instead of me trying to convince, I just decided to partner with equipment dealers that already had people that wanted to buy equipment and wanted to finance. So I didn't have to fight that wall. I already was introduced to warm, ready to sign clients without trying to jump over this hurdle of teaching them and explaining to them why financing is beneficial for their business, for the bottom line, and for their taxes. It's just an easier way. It's the path of least resistance. And I go much deeper into this in my training. It's linked in the description. And if it's something that interests you, I hope you check it out.